friends and neighbors. This is your good buddy Bulldawg coming back at you live and uncut from the Burn Studios here in the wilds of upstate New York. I got to tell you, I am really excited for our first installment of what I call the Burn Clinic. This is a place where I will be able to give tutorials to people who are searching for answers during their pipe smoking journey, talking about different blends in a different way, not so much reviewing, but maybe giving some tips and just discussing things and maybe talking about some techniques along the way. I invite those of you who have been on your pipe journey for some time with experience to please join in down below and give your 2 cents, please, because I'm not a pipe guru. I don't know everything. I make mistakes. I'm human. So if you catch me making a mistake, please call me on it. If you have a better idea than I have, let me know. Tell us about it. And if you have some other ideas that you just want to share, go for it, please. I welcome your input with open arms. Before I get going, I just want to thank everybody so much for coming here to join us here at the Burn. And I also am very excited to say that we are only 27 subscribers away from reaching our 500th subscriber. Please get the word out. Have your friends come watch, and if they enjoy, please join us as often as possible and subscribe. Again, for those of you who are not familiar with what a subscription here on YouTube is, it just alerts you to any new videos that might come out on the channel. It doesn't cost anything. You have no obligation except for bink, just hitting that little button there, okay? So I really appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. You make it all worthwhile. All right, so here at the Burn Clinic, our very first episode of the Burn Clinic, I would like to talk about setting up a cellar. So many blends, so many approaches to this. Let me back it up a bit. When I first started my pipe journey, long ago, decades ago, the choices might have been daunting had I known about them. We didn't have this thing called the interweb, which gave us all sorts of education as to different types of blends and just what was available. You couldn't order things online because there was no online. So there really wasn't, if you didn't have a mentor, then you really had a hard go of it other than what you saw in your local brick and mortars. And hopefully they had a good selection. We'll talk about selection here in a bit. But I just really thought this would be a nice way to help out people who are trying to put together, a regular rotation. So this rotation would give you a sampling from each of the blend categories. I'd like to include the 4 basic ones. Of course, there's a lot of crossover. I'll mention that again, I'm sure. You have your aromatics, you have your Burleys, you have your Englishes, and you have your Virginias, okay? So those are the 4 basic blend styles. There are a lot of crossovers, as I have said, so you'll have some Burleys that might have an aromatic quality about them. You might have Virginias blended with the Burleys. You might have Burleys, Virginias, and Latakia all mixed in. We'll talk about the Latakia in specific here in a bit. They might have a sweet flavoring to them, added on top of that mixture. The combinations are they're infinite. So I'm talking about I'm trying to give a good representation of the different blend categories that I had mentioned. That's a good place to start. Now, I also wanted to make sure that these blends fit certain criteria. So those of you who have been around the block, you're going to see that there are lots of different things that I am not mentioning here because I really want this to be very, very user-friendly. Please forgive me. I'm going to be referring to my notes because I don't want to pass over anything. I want to make sure that I include everything I need to say to people who need help. All right. So again, I said that these blends were chosen on a basis of how beginner-friendly they are. Above all, widespread availability is very, very important. The blends, if I recommend a blend to you that you can't get your hands on, why am I bothering? You know, we'll talk about those later on in reviews and stuff. I'll make you aware of some things that you might not be aware of. But right now, I just want to be able to point you in the right direction, give you some ideas, and maybe just get you started just so you can try these different blend styles and just find out what the difference is between them. So widespread availability is a big thing. Ease of prep, okay? Preparing tobacco. There are different ways to prepare tobacco. Today, I'm trying to limit it with some exception. There will be exceptions. I'm trying to limit it to those that are ribbon cut because the ribbon cut blends tend to be much easier to work with. You just pull them out of the tin or the jar and you pack them, light them and go. That makes it easy. When you have the different curly cuts and flakes and different kinds of plugs and things like that. We'll talk about those in another burn clinic video. I'm really looking forward to that one. But I really just want this to be an ease of use, something that burns cool, burns easily, minimal tongue bite, minimal chance of tongue bite. For those of you who are just starting on your pipe journey, tongue bite is when you get through either temperature or chemical reaction, you can get a burning sensation on your tongue, and it's really a kind of burn. You can get, if your body composition, your body chemistry has a lot to do with it. So if you have an aversion to a certain topping, we'll talk about that, don't worry about it, a topping or an acidity of a certain leaf that's used in a blend, it can irritate your tongue and your throat. So I'm trying to find ones that won't do that, or that historically have not done that to most folks reportedly. Likewise, the temperature. Sometimes if you smoke a certain type of tobacco blend, it lends itself to a higher degree of heat and or steam that will cook your tongue too. So I'm trying to find these that are really user-friendly, and they don't have like a huge learning curve on them. It's not to say that you're incapable of handling the other ones. I don't mean it to be insulting. Please, when I tell you that these are beginner-friendly, I'm trying to be nice to you because I want you to stick with this. I want you to enjoy your pipe journey. I don't want it to be a struggle. I'm an idiot who learned from a lot of different mistakes, and I just don't want you making the same ones. I want you to enjoy as much as you can, okay? So when I say beginner friendly, please, please, please don't say, well, I need to go past this. I want to go for the other ones that aren't so beginner friendly. How dare he say that? I'm doing it to help you just get started. By all means, try anything and everything that you possibly can. That's the fun of this hobby. It's so much fun to try all these different things. Like I said, I'm just trying to help you out just so you don't have too much trouble getting started, okay? I want to help you get your feet wet without there being too much trouble, okay? Also, affordability. I'm trying not to get things that are way out of control, either as far as availability or affordability. So I do believe that's, and nicotine. Nicotine, a lot of people look for a high nicotine content. They like the feeling that comes along with it as they smoke it. I'm trying to keep it at the lower threshold with these blends for you until you get used to it. Getting sick from nicotine is no fun. It's happened to me over and over and over again. It will happen to me. It will happen to me over and over and over again from here on in. So it's just something to consider, and I'm trying to steer you clear of that. There are a couple blends that are stronger, and I will give you a word of warning when it comes to those, okay? So, be that as it may, let's see. Oh, and the burn should be fairly easy to maintain with these cuts as well. So you're not struggling to keep the thing lit and, you know, driving yourself nuts with relights. So that's what I meant by, you know, being beginner friendly. All right, so here's where we're going to start, because so many people do start here. Should they start here? Not necessarily, and I will tell you why. This group is the aromatic group. This is the group that smells lovely, even to people who do not smoke pipes. This is probably the category, the blend category, that first lured you to smoking a pipe. I know it did with me. I remember a neighbor who was smoking a nice vanilla blend, and it was probably a Captain Black blend, and oh my goodness, from afar, he was walking his dog, and I was even just down the road a little bit, and I smelled it, and I was like, wow, that's really good. Or my grandfather, who had a what we call a codger blend, and it had a really, really nice scent to it as well. And these are the things that made me think later on in life, well, maybe this is for me. I really want to try this because it smells nice. People often say, oh, I love the smell of a pipe. And that's usually because of the aromatics. Now, the aromatics include different tobaccos that carry what's called a topping. A topping is an extraneous flavor that is added to the tobacco and is often sought out for the flavor itself. So people who get these aromatics are not necessarily looking for a natural tobacco flavor. They're really searching for that certain flavor that is being carried by the topping, which is the added mixture or flavoring that is that is infused into the tobacco. Okay, so there could be different flavors. There could be vanilla, maple, chocolate, different boozes. Oh gosh, what am I missing? Cherry, maple, and the list just goes on and on and on. These blenders are getting more and more creative these days with all these different things. Cornell and Deal seasonally puts out the Warped Scarecrow, and that is supposed to mimic the scent of a trick-or-treat bag after it's full. It's just amazing what they do with this stuff. So it's an aromatic is one that has been topped. It has had this flavoring added. So I'm going to give you a couple that are less temperamental. I did say that you probably should not have started here. Guess what? I did. I remember my very first blend was like a five-pound sack from the drugstore of this cheap, disgusting vanilla Cavendish that was absolutely horrendous, and it gave me tongue bite to no end, and I didn't know any better. I just wanted that vanilla flavor, and that's what I was going for. I didn't really want tobacco. My parents smoked cigarettes, and I was not down with a cigarette flavor. If I wanted that flavor, I would have been smoking cigarettes. But instead, I wanted to go with the aromatics, a nice, sweet-smelling something. All right. So let's start with the... Okay, let me back up. So a little caveat. They can have a tendency to give you some tongue bite. Don't go into it fearfully. Take it slowly. Don't puff on it incessantly, horribly. Give it a couple seconds in between puffs and give it a chance to burn cool, okay? That way you minimize your chances at tongue bite, okay? So we're going to address the elephant in the room. Lane Limited 1Q. The most widespread, most popular blend that is being sold right now. I don't know of all time, but has been for years from my understanding. It is a chiefly black Cavendish blend. It might have other Cavendishes in it as well. When I say Cavendish, that's not a leaf that has been cultivated so much. You don't have a Cavendish plant. You have maybe a Burley plant or a Virginia plant, and it has been Cavendished. It has been processed. It has undergone this process where it's been steamed or stoved. And what it does is it caramelizes it, and it actually makes it very prone to accepting the topping flavors that they want to impart upon it. So this Lane Limited 1Q, very, very popular. It is straight up vanilla. You're not going to taste any tobacco. You're going to taste vanilla. Is it sweet? You betcha. Is it tasty? Oh, yes. It is popular for a reason. It tastes great. It's a crowd pleaser. Now, the only downside that I see to it that makes me really not gravitate towards it is it makes a mess out of my pipes. It's what we call a goopy aromatic. A lot of people call it that. And so what it does is it makes your pipe, it kind of makes it so it's like got all this goop on the inside of the bowl when you're done smoking it. You got to clean that gunk out. So that's no fun. I don't enjoy doing that. It's easily done. You can jam a napkin or a tissue in there and just kind of twist it out in the bowl, and it'll take all the black grossness off the walls, most of it. And it pays to have like a dedicated pipe sometimes for something like that, because it tends to stick with it. It tends to ghost the pipe a bit because the gunk like actually sits on the side. It's like candy though. It's really easy to smoke. So let's talk about another elephant in the room. You've seen it. If you haven't seen it, no, I'm sure you've seen it. As a pipe smoker, you've seen these blends everywhere. They're even sold in vape shops. They're sold everywhere. Probably the most widespread brand that you can get, and that is Captain Black. Now, Captain Black is a heavily topped aromatic as well. It is also considered what's called a codger blend. It's one that's been around for a long time, and a lot of old timers have chosen it. They smoke it, and that's all they smoke. The codger blends are ones that have a really loyal following normally, and they've been around for a long, long time. Captain Black kind of fits that. It is an aromatic. If you get the original in the white pouch, it has a vanilla flavoring to it. As you move on through your pipe journey, if you're like me, you'll find it to be a bit flavorless. If you want one of their blends that has a bit more flavor to it, I would recommend Captain Black Gold, which has that same vanilla flavoring. You can actually taste more of the Virginia Cavendish that comes through, so you get more of a taste of the natural tobacco flavor along with that vanilla. Be careful with that one. That can be a slightly bitey. Take your time with it. One that I highly recommend if you want to try Captain Black would be the Captain Black Royal. That's in the blue pouch. It's a navy blue pouch, and that has like vanilla, some sort of booze, caramel. Gosh, what else is in that? Booze, caramel, maybe even a little bit of honey. So but it's not disgustingly sweet. It's not as sweet as like Lane 1Q. So if you want something that's a little bit more creamy, that's probably what you've smelled in the past from another pipe smoker and said, hey, I want to give that a shot because it smells really good. To me, it kind of smells almost like a McDonald's shake tastes. It's got that, I don't know, that's probably just my weirdness, but whatever. All right, so that's Captain Black. There are others that they have. They have the Captain Black Dark, which I believe is a chocolate topped one. I wasn't too crazy about that when I tried it, I got to be honest with you. And I've never tried the Captain Black Cherry. I've heard very mixed reviews. There are people who are extreme loyalists to that blend, and others who are like, yeah, I'm never smoking that crap again. Take that as you will. Don't shy away from anything. Try it all and make up your own mind. And don't just listen to fools like me. I'm just trying to point you in the right direction from my own experiences. All right. Okay. The next one that I have is what I really enjoyed. This one got me really hooked on aromatics. And this one is Cult Blood Red Moon. If you like chocolate-covered cherries that, you know, you have around Christmas time, this is your blend. I have turned other people onto it, and they've gone no further. I'm like, here's a good introduction to pipe smoking. It's really easy to smoke. It's got a great flavor. It's not going to fight you in any way, shape, or form. My brother being one of them, my best friend who picked up pipe smoking was stuck with it for a while. But my brother can't get off the stuff. It's just so good. It's a cherry blend done right. Cherry blends can be a little controversial. They can be kind of fake tasting, like taste like cough drops, you know, like Luden's cherry cough drops. But this one is actually made with, I believe they're natural Queen Anne cherries and a little bit of a chocolate flavoring too. And it's really, really tasty, and it burns well, and it'll treat you right. All right, the next one is the #1 selling aromatic by Cornell and Deal. I have talked about this in the past. It is Autumn Evening. All right, this one, fantastic. Really, really good stuff. When I had first gotten it, I didn't care for it. I'm going to be honest with you, because I was looking for a straight maple blend to replace McClelland's Town Topic, which was a creamy maple that I'm still on the search for. This one didn't do it for me because it's not a straight maple, and you can't expect it to just be that. It's maple, caramel, vanilla, and even a touch of scotch. If you go into it expecting that and expecting to taste some Virginia Cavendish, which actually shines through, you get a little bit of true tobacco flavor going into it, you won't be disappointed. I don't think you will be disappointed. It is heavily topped, so you're definitely going to get those flavors. If you're going into it for a natural tobacco flavor, this is not the blend for you. But if you're going for an aromatic, I can't recommend Cult Blood Red Moon and Autumn Evening anymore. All right, so now we're going to move away from the sweet category and start moving into the savory category, with some exceptions. Again, everything that I say, you know, take with a grain of salt, because there are exceptions. This is probably where we all should have started our pipe smoking journey with. And that, in my opinion, is my opinion. Remember, you can argue all you want, because opinions are like hiney holes. Everybody's got one and they all stink. Well, mine is Englishes would be a great place to start. They're soft. They're not temperamental for the most part. They tend to burn cool. There aren't many of them that are prone to tongue bite. They're just so even tempered and easy to work with. So I'm going to talk to you about this. In English, in the broad sense of the term, certain folks will consider an English blend anything that is not topped and has straight tobacco flavor. That tends to be a little too broad for many of us. So we kind of narrowed it down, including myself. We kind of narrowed it down to savory blends that are not topped. For the most part, there are exceptions, like I said, but they have what is called latakia in it. Latakia is a type of oriental leaf that is usually brought in overseas. It is a fire-cured leaf. It is an Oriental that has been cultivated and then it is cured over a smoldering fire. And because it has historically been brought in overseas, whatever they use for the fire is native to that area that they're burning. So it has a very different smoke character than different blends that have been fire cured or smoke cured here in the United States. I'll talk about those other ones in a different video. But for now, the Englishes that we're going to talk about are blends that have the Latakia being detectable. And you'll get like a campfire character to it, maybe like an incense character to it. And it's very pleasurable to many people. Some people it's a turnoff. It may not be your thing. And also, you may not be ready for it, which is perfectly fine too. If you don't like it now, after some time, after a year or two, come back to it. And that goes with any blend, because you'll be surprised how many blends you grow into. Your tastes will change. It's not that they might change. Your tastes will change during your pipe smoking journey. So let me get to the Englishes. Enough yapping here. Okay. So I'm going to kick things off with one of my favorites that I started off with. This one's near and dear to my heart. It is one that's been around for a while, and there's a reason that a blend sticks around for over 100 years, and that's because they're usually damn good. This is no exception. This is Scandinavian Tobacco Group's Presbyterian mixture. Okay. This one, oh my goodness, so good. It is on the lighter end of the spectrum as far as Latakia is concerned. As a matter of fact, it has its doubters that say there is no Latakia in here. All you taste are the Orientals that are very forward. They are very forward, but there are Latakia tips in here according to what it says on the tin and according to different things that I've researched. It does have a small amount of Latakia to it. So you will get some smokiness. As a new pipe smoker, when I first started smoking this, I'm like, how do they not get it? How do they not taste the Latakia in this? But then going back later after having what a lot of people refer to as lat bombs, Latakia bombs, that are heavily Latakia'd, sometimes there are times where I can't really taste the Latakia in this. I just taste the Orientals and or Virginias. But an excellent way to go. Very easy smoker. Another easy smoker. Samuel Gawith. Perfection. There we go. Perfection. Now, is it perfect? Of course not. There is no perfect blend. If there is, I have not discovered it yet. I've had some blends that have come damn close, but this one, it has so many detractors because of the name. They're like, oh, it's far from perfect. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. I think if it was named something else, it would have had a whole lot more followers. This is in English, definitely on the lighter end of the spectrum, meaning that it has a low, just a little bit of little Latakia to it. And so that makes it easy to transition into if you're coming from a different blend group and just dabbling in the Englishes. It makes for a very easy blend to transition to. Something else that helps out a little bit is it has a hint of vanilla to it. Are you going to taste it? Chances are not. If you're coming from the Aromatic group and you're trying to go into this and you're expecting vanilla, I can almost guarantee you're not going to taste it. It will just act as something that helps round out the blend and smooth it out, give it an element of creaminess. If you're a hardcore lat bomb smoker and you come to this one, you're going to taste the vanilla. You better believe it. But it's a really cool smoking, smooth, easygoing blend that's very beginner friendly. All right, time for the English elephant in the room, and that would be, boom! Early Morning Pipe by Peterson, formerly of Dunhill origins. All right, so this one has a bit more Latakia to it. It's got Latakia, it's got Virginias, it's a lot like Perfection. Hold the vanilla and give it a little bit more Latakia to it. It's a similar English kind of blend, but it tends to have much more the natural flavor. There is zero topping on this one that I know of. It's not, known for being topped. It just has mostly a light to medium bodied English flavor to it. Hence the name Early Morning Pipe. A lot of people like to wake up to this one and have it with coffee. Now, I am not one of them. I'm not huge on Early Morning Pipe because I have found other blends that work better for me. If I were to recommend something like that would fill that Early Morning Pipe niche, I would have to go with GLP's. That's right there, GLP's Chelsea Morning. Now this is a huge tin. Of course they come in smaller ones too, but I like it this much, okay? This one can fit that same bill, that light to medium English, early morning, friendly kind of English. It's a good smoke all day, anytime blend. Very, very easy to work with. And I find that it has, for my own personal taste, it seems like it has much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Cohesive. It's got a much more cohesive flavor to it than the Early Morning Pipe. The Early Morning Pipe seems a little bit more disjointed to my personal palate. The Chelsea Morning tends to be a little bit more cohesive and smoother to me. Again, all this is subjective. It's all personal, so don't attack me. All right. Next, if you want to get into something heavier than the Early Morning Pipe, something that has got fantastic flavor, but it is approaching more of the medium Latakia flavor to it, would be the next step up in the holy trinity of the Peterson Englishes, My Mixture 965 from Peterson. Outstanding blend. Tons of flavor. Excellent, excellent flavor. It's considered a Scottish, which is an English that has a little bit of the Cavendish thrown in to make everything more creamy, cohesive, better smoke output. Just a touch of the Cavendish goes a long way, and it's outstanding. Here is my word of warning. That one tends to rock my world every bowl. It tends to have a bit of a nick hit. To me, am I a wimp? Possibly. Because I love Nightcap, which is supposedly heavier duty, but for some reason, My Mixture 965 is just that blend that rocks my world every time. So if you start feeling a little lightheaded and everything, take a break. But the flavor's really, really good. One that's a little bit easier on that, I don't have a tin for it, but one that's a little bit easier on the nicotine for me, and I have just recently discovered it and is fantastic, is Peterson's Old Dublin. I can't say enough things about this blend. It is very much like My Mixture 965, but it is so smooth and so easygoing. It's really just quite the sleeper blend. If you haven't tried that one, anybody, a new smoker or a seasoned vet, if you haven't tried Old Dublin, I highly recommend it. And it's fairly inexpensive too. Bonus. All right, so that's it, I believe, for... Oh, no. Forgive. I have one more honorable mention for Englishes. Now, this one is considered a crossover. I do not have the tin for this. I only have it in the jar. I had gotten rid of the tin since. But it's Sillam's Black. Okay, Sillam's makes several different blends. Sillam's is the brand. Black is the blend that I'm speaking of. They have the green, they have the red, I think they have a blue, and they have the black. I don't know of any more. There could be more. But the black is really highly sought after. It is a great English crossover. What does that mean? If you're coming from the aromatic camp and you want to try to get into Englishes, it may be your thing because it has a bit of a topping. It's not anything that I've been able to really put my finger on. It's not like cherry flavored. It's not like it's sweeter. It's just a sweetener is what I think it is. I don't get much of anything else. I could be wrong. They could have intended for it to have a specific flavor to it. But you taste the Latakia. That English blend is there, and it's fairly lightly topped. You taste the topping, it sweetens it, but you're still getting that full English experience. So you might want to check that one out. That's a nice combination, a nice crossover. All right, so that's it for the Englishes. Let's move on to the Burleys. This one is a little bit tricky for most newer pipe smokers. Burleys are, okay, Burley leaf is typically what is used in cigarettes. And so the room note that comes off of it isn't usually pleasing as some of the others might be. A lot of people might say, oh man, it smells like, are you smoking cigarettes? What's going on? It's the same kind of leaf from the same, it's the same, how do I say this? The same plant is used to provide leaf for both Burley blends and cigarettes. However, the pipe variety tends to be a much higher grade from what I understand. It's not what a lot of people call floor sweepings. And it's much smoother. But it's very understandable if it's an acquired taste for you as well because of that. For those of you who are coming into this hobby off of cigarettes, trying to kick the cigarette habit, this may be the way to go. Keep in mind, Burleys tend to have a higher nicotine content. So the ones that I'm going to tell you about, please proceed with a little bit of caution. Just go into it knowing that it can have, a little bit of a nicotine kick to it. The taste that they normally have, that the typical Burley taste, so to speak, is usually dry, nutty, unsweetened cocoa. These are all notes that are very typical of Burley. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a few different blends that really are good examples of getting these flavors. The first one I'm going to share with you, I don't have a tin for. It is Cornell and Deal Pegasus. Now, that one is not just a pure Burley blend. Pure Burleys can be extremely overwhelming. So to soften it, blenders tend to throw in maybe a measure of Virginia to sweeten it up, maybe some Cavendish to soften it, soften it, and they might even throw in a topping just to make it more palatable for people. In this case, Pegasus is a blend. It's not just a straight Burley. It does have some Virginia. It does have some Cavendish. The Cavendish is really just thrown in to kind of smooth things out, make it all cohesive again. The Virginias give it a little bit of natural sweetness because the Virginia leaf is higher in sugar content than the dry Burley one. So Pegasus is a very good place to start if you want to try for that Burley flavor. It's a Burley forward blend, which means that you're getting mostly Burley flavor to it, even though there are other components that are blended in. Cornell and Deal Old Joe Krantz is one of my favorite go-tos. I I think I might even prefer this to Pegasus. It's kind of an unsung hero for me. It really embodies that full white burley flavor. So it has that nuttiness to it. It's really good. It's just a no-nonsense white burley flavor to it. So it has a little bit of Virginia that's added to balance it out, but for the most part, it is definitely a burley forward blend. So when I want a no-nonsense burley, that's an easy one to go to. Easy pick. Then you can move on to the codger blends, which I have mentioned before. Now, the Captain Black that family is much more aromatic. The codger blends that I'm going to mention now are very beginner friendly. They've been around forever and they have a really huge loyal following. Some ones that I might mention are Carter Hall, Sir Walter Raleigh, Prince Albert, Velvet. Now, all of these tend to have a light topping added to them. You're going to taste mostly burley, but they have a little bit of a topping to them. My actual favorite one is Lane Limited. Lane Limited? Scandinavian Tobacco Group. Sorry. Scandinavian Tobacco Group, half and half. All right. They call it half and half because supposedly the components are half Virginia and half burley. Make no mistake, it is a bit more of a burley forward blend, so you taste more burley. This is also topped as well. It has like a very unique flavor that's really tasty. It's got like a licorice flavor. I think cardamom was another spice that was in there, like baking spices, maybe a hint of vanilla or booze. It's a really unique flavor, but it's also very smooth and very enjoyable. Could be a good way for you to slide into as a crossover. If you really want pure burley flavor, I have got to give this honorable mention. However, take this with a grain of salt. This may not be a truly beginner-friendly blend. That is Five Brothers Pipe Tobacco! You have to shout it because they have the exclamation point on there. They really, really mean it. It's pipe tobacco. It's not like one of the apple pies from McDonald's or anything. Don't make no mistake, this is pipe tobacco. It's very finely cut. It is what they call a shag cut. So it can tend to burn quickly and hotly. So you want to pack it into a very small bowl, very tightly, and take your time with it. This will pack a nicotine punch. Make no mistake. Use a very, very small bowl, quite possibly the smallest bowl that you have, until you can recognize what your tolerance is with this. It's great stuff. Don't get me wrong. If you want a pure flavor of burley, this is it, man. It's great. This is definitely old school burley flavor, but it can be very strong. All right. Oh, also another codger blend that you might want to try that has very straightforward burley flavor. Maybe with like what's called a casing, which is not quite a topping. It doesn't have a distinctive flavor, but it could be like sugar water, maple sugar, something that's added without imparting a specific flavor to a blend, but giving a little bit of sweetness to make it more palatable. And that would be STG grape. STG, oh my goodness, what is it? Is it STG? It's so hard to keep track of that. Yes, Scandinavian Tobacco Group Granger. That's another one that's very straightforward, burley flavor, yet it has a little bit of sweetness to make it more tolerable and more palatable. All right, so I think that's it for the burleys. Time to move on to my beloved Virginias. I am sorry this is lasting so terribly long. I just really have a lot to say in this one. If this is too long for me, please let me know down in the comments, okay? I'm doing what I can with this one. This is my first go at the burn clinic, so I'll try to keep it shorter after this. Virginias. Virginias are naturally sweet. Make no mistake, pure tobacco flavor. All right, really delicious. It's just that the plants themselves have a higher natural sugar content that circulates through the leaves. And because of that, it smokes sweeter, and it also can be hotter. So Virginias can have a little bit of a learning curve to them. Please take it slow with these, because you can get tongue bite very easily from a Virginia, because they can burn hot. If it starts burning hot, if your bowl gets too hot to the touch, put it down, let it go out, let the relight be your friend, okay? Take it in small doses until you get your cadence down. Cadence meaning the how regular and rapid you are drawing on the pipe. When you get that cadence done just right, you can smoke Virginias at a reasonable rate where they don't get too hot. There is a learning curve. I had a very hard time finding it, but thank God I did, because I love Virginias. So let me tell you about some of the ones that might be more beginner friendly. If there was a more beginner friendly blend overall than Cornell and Deal's Winchester, I have not come across it. I cannot recommend Cornell and Deal Winchester enough to, I'm shouting it from the hilltops. As a beginner blend, it is as perfect of a beginner blend as you can possibly get. It's cool burning, it's even burning, it's easy to light, it's easy to pack. You're getting the natural Virginia flavor. It's Virginias that are mixed with Cavendish. So that's what's making it nice and cool. It has a nice smoke output, but you can taste the Virginias. You get that nice natural Virginia flavor with the earthiness that's added in from the Cavendish. And it's just such an easy smoke. If you're learning the mechanics of smoking, how to pack a bowl, how to smoke it, how to gain your cadence, how to tamp, it's oh my gosh, this is a set of training wheels for a pipe. I can't recommend it enough. And the beauty of it is as far as I know, it is only offered in bulk. So it's one of the very cheaper blends to get. And it's good stuff, very tasty. It's got that very old school room note. If someone comes in and they smell it, they'll be like, oh, this reminds me of blah, 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 someone that they knew in the past. Because it just has that really old school room note to it. It's really enjoyable. Very soft. Another Virginia you might want to look into is Cornell and Deal's Yorktown. Yorktown is, I believe, a blend of bright Virginias and red Virginias with a little bit of caramelized stove Virginias thrown into the mix. And then I think they re-stove the entire blend again just a little bit, meaning that they caramelize it with some heat so it has a little bit more of a molasses character to it, added to the natural Virginia sweetness. It can burn a little bit hot, so make sure you take your time with it. If you want something that might be a little bit more slow burning, I'm going to recommend it just because this is one of my favorite straight Virginias of all time, if not my favorite straight Virginia blend of all time. And that would be GLP's Union Square. And Union Square is a Virginia in the purest sense. What do I mean by that? It's Virginias. Just straight Virginias. But not only that, but it's not topped with anything, and it's not even enhanced with a casing. So it doesn't have anything other than pure, natural, unadulterated flavor. Do I have this one open? Oh, no, it's empty. Unadulterated, natural Virginia flavor. Now, the tricky part with it is it's not a ribbon cut. It's what's called ready rubbed. So it's like a coarser cut. We'll get into the different cuts in another video. But you can actually just take like a pinch of it, put it between the palms of your hands over a paper plate, go like this, twist it around and everything, let all the pieces just drop down onto the plate, and then you'll have something that more closely resembles the ribbon cut of the other ones that I have been talking about. So that's pretty much all you have to do with that one. I tried to, like I said, limit to ribbon cuts, but this is an exception just because if you really want that pure Virginia flavor, it doesn't get much better than that, out of blends that you can get on a regular basis nowadays. Okay, here's another one that you have to take with a grain of salt, and that is Peterson's The Royal Yacht. One of my all-time, there we go. One of my all-time favorites. I go to this blend over and over and over again. It is a straight Virginia. It is ribbon cut. It is very easy to pack and work with. The mechanics of it are fantastic. It's a nice ribbon cut. Here are where it varies a little bit. It can have a bit of a nicotine hit to it, so be warned. I've never had any issues with it, but I have heard other people having a little bit of a sensitivity to it. So just, feel it out. And then it has, it supposedly has, if you're coming from an aromatic camp again, you're probably not going to taste it. It has a little bit of a plum topping to it. If you're used to smoking Union Square all the time, pure, unadulterated Virginia over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden you pack a bowl of Royal Yacht, chances are you will taste a bit of the plum topping. It is very subtle, though. It is very subtle, and chances are you won't even notice it. Some people say that it resembles Perique in flavor. I'm not sure I get that either. To me, it's just a really easygoing Virginia. But again, your mileage may vary. Everybody's palate's different. Moving on from there, I would also like to talk about vapors. When you hear the term vapor, it's not like water vapor. It's not like that, V-A-P-O-R. It's V-A-P-E-R. And that's just an acronym. Is that the right term? Combination of terms. V-A standing for Virginia and P-E-R for Perique. So it has at least those two components put together into the blend. So it's a vapor. So if you ever hear that, that's what that means. And Perique is a fermented tobacco and has a very distinct flavor to it. There are a lot of wonderful vapors out there. If you want to go with a Virginia blend that has some Perique that is easy to work with and has that same ribbon cut, again, another Peterson blend, Elizabethan mixture. This is a great vapor. Are there better? Yeah, I'll get into those in another one. Are there worse? Certainly. But like I said, this one is very beginner friendly. Take your time. It can have a nicotine kick to it. Lastly, but not leastly, I have to include this one just because so many people cut their teeth on this one as their very first Virginia blend. I was on the fence about it because it comes in what's called a flake. Now, a flake is not a ribbon cut. It is a ribbon that has been pressed into a block and then is sliced into what are called flakes. All right, so you can see all the components that are in there. There are some darker ones, which is, in this case, the Perique, and the lighter ones, which tend to be the different Virginias. And oh my goodness, I don't know if anybody shares this with me, but the tin note, the jar note on this has always been straight up orange juice for me. Does it taste like that? No, doesn't taste like that at all. This blend is Orlik Golden Sliced, and it's called Golden Sliced because, well, it's golden in color and it is sliced into flakes. Again, all you have to do is take that flake, ball it up. Don't be afraid of hurting it. Ball it up as tight as you can. Put that in the palm of your hand and do this over a paper plate until all the little bits fall out. There's also there are different ways of smoking a flake. Again, subject for a future video. But to get started, you can make this just like the other ribbon cuts, that, even burning and everything, by doing what I just told you. Just hold it over a paper plate and then, break the residual up with your fingers until you have something that resembles one of the other cuts, one of the other ribbon cuts. This is an excellent way to start with what are called bright Virginias. They just have to be experienced. They are on the sweeter side. Not much of a fermentation going on that I know of. But it's got the Perique in there, just a touch of the Perique, not quite as much as the Elizabethan. It's got such a light-handed touch of the Perique that a lot of people can't even notice it. I have a hard time really noticing any Perique in this. To me, this is honestly closer to a straight Virginia as far as I'm concerned. Again, your mileage may vary. So that is it for the Virginias. I think that pretty much covers it ad nauseum. Almost an hour long. I'm so sorry. So I just wanted to help you out, give you some pointers as to getting your, not necessarily your cellar. I said cellar at the beginning, but getting your rotation in order, getting a good beginner rotation in order so you can taste the differences between these different components and different blend styles. So I hope I pointed you in the right direction. My name is Bulldawg. I thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.